Today there is dangerous news from Belarus. Here Belarus is pushing its luck again and staging repeated aerial provocations and incursions along the Ukrainian border. Now they are copying the Russian playbook and even trying to provoke Ukraine into a major escalation. Recently, Ukrainian forces had observed unusual activity on the Belarusian side of the Ukraine-Belarus border. Ukrainian radar and monitoring systems also began detecting increased aerial activity near the border. In response, Zelensky warned that Ukraine is fully prepared to defend its people and sovereignty, adding that anyone considering involvement in aggression against Ukraine should understand the consequences. Shortly afterward, helicopters were detected approaching the border near the Chernobyl area. 2 Belarusian helicopters were operating within Belarusian territory, just a few kilometers from Ukraine's Chernihiv and Kyiv regions. One of the helicopters flew only meters from the border and appeared to be preparing to enter the Chornobyl Exclusion Zone. In response, Ukrainian air defense units were placed on a high alert and prepared to intercept them. The incident is significant because during the start of Russia's full-scale invasion, Russian airborne forces used helicopters to rapidly advance toward Kyiv and seize strategic locations around the capital. This latest provocation comes amid growing preparations in Belarus that could enable Russian forces or Belarusian troops themselves to launch a renewed attack on Ukraine from the north. Ukraine says it has observed the development of logistics routes, training grounds, and military facilities in Belarus that are already planned to be used jointly with the Russian forces. At the same time, while there is no massive concentration of Russian troops inside Belarus, the several thousand-strong contingent works closely together with the Belarusian army in addition to the almost 300,000 reservists that could be mobilized in case of a triggering event. Therefore, Ukraine continues preparing for possible provocations and attempts to destabilize the northern border region, building defensive lines and fortifications. Belarusian helicopters approaching the border could land special forces and provide fire support to break through the defenses and allow a larger force to roll in. This time, fortunately, the helicopters turned away at the last moment, although another object did cross into Ukraine from the north shortly afterward. After entering Ukrainian airspace, the object was identified as a balloon flying at an altitude of approximately 6,500 meters. The balloon was equipped with a signal repeater designed to amplify communications, strengthen and extend the control signal for Russian drones and other weapons used in attacks against Ukraine. These are one of the tools Russia uses to strike Ukraine more effectively, but if they cross the border, these can be shot down without risking a bigger escalation that a direct strike into Belarusian airspace would cause. However, Belarus is raising the stakes even further, outside of simply allowing Russian drones to use Belarusian territory to increase signal strength. Notably, some of the Russian drones used in attacks on Kyiv do not have the operational range to be launched directly from Russian territory, meaning they need to have been launched from Belarus instead. Specifically, Russia used a new AI-guided Lancet drone in a strike on Kyiv, with the drone crashing near the Independence Monument. The drone's estimated extended range is up to 100 kilometers, while the nearest Russian border is roughly 200 kilometers away. Lancet drones are also more difficult to intercept than Shaheds because of their smaller size and different flight characteristics, requiring additional air defense resources to counter effectively. The incident suggests that Russia is now using Belarusian territory not only to support strikes logistically, but also as a launch platform for attacks against Ukraine. This creates a difficult strategic dilemma for Kyiv, as Ukrainian forces have avoided striking targets inside Belarus to prevent further escalation and avoid drawing Belarus more directly into the war. However, this is precisely Russia's objective, to pressure Ukraine into opening and defending another major front along the roughly 1,000-kilometer border with Belarus. Such an escalation would finally allow Lukashenko to announce the mobilization of his reservists with less societal backlash, forcing Belarus into the conflict and thereby stretching Ukrainian manpower, equipment, and air defense resources even further. Overall, Belarus is no longer just a passive ally in the background of the war. Belarus is already being used as a launch point for drones, manned aerial incursions are being tested, and ground is being prepared. The concern is significant. While there is no evidence yet of a full northern offensive, The repeated provocations, military preparations, and use of Belarusian territory show a coordinated effort to pressure Ukraine, stretch its defenses, and create constant uncertainty along the northern border. If you would like to explore other key developments today that we couldn't cover in this video, make sure to visit our interactive news map. The link to our interactive map is in the description below. Thank you for watching this update, and a special thanks to everyone already following our interactive map.